Lale looks like he's going to slow down. I feeling he's going to slow down. Putting a lot of power in all the shots early. And he's exploding on all of it. He's not really tapping away, letting the jabs go, getting the muscles loose. Power. Oh, he's playing power in every shot. It looks like Okuyama's. Oh, Okuyama got the head kick. Still on his feet. Come on. Oh, Okuyama. Come on, boy. Oh, the uppercut hurt him. Okuyama's just got to be patient. This big man's going to get tired. Good knee. He's just throwing a lot of power shots. His hands are already low. Look there. Hands are already low. Oh, he's getting tagged though. The uppercuts. Ooh, Okuyama lands a straight right. Now you see what I like about that round, is that the one that won the round, also the one that lost the round, in my opinion. Because he won the round on the scorecards. Lale definitely won the round on the scorecard. He landed the more damaging shots. Basically got a knockdown because Okuyama was basically knocked down on his feet while he was standing. However, it's a big however, Lale was the one that was significantly tired at the end of the round. Okuyama still didn't go down. He got flipped hard there. Another one. He's just got to keep that guard up. This man is staying as hard as he can. He's going to get tired. Oh! How is Okuyama taking his shots? It's an uppercut, a right hook, a left hook. Lale is getting tired, guys. Okuyama can go to. Whoa! Yes, he's going to be down 2 rounds. Yeah, he's down 2 rounds. He's down 2 rounds. He's going to have to get a knockout. I'm telling you, Lale is looking tired. Okuyama has to get a knockout. He has no choice now. He can't do anything else here but get a knockout. Ooh! Okuyama's going to work. Ooh! Counter. He needs to go back to that calf kick, in my opinion. Ooh! Here we go. Ooh, go back to that calf kick. Ooh, knee. He's got Lale backed up. Knee. Left hook. Knee again. Oh, another one. Another one. He's done. You'll be cooked. Go again. Oh! Yes! Yes! You don't want it. Go back. Knee. Knee. He's down. Let's go. One knockdown. Let's go. Finish him. Knee. Calf kick. Let's go, Okuyama. Look at him taking deep breaths. I told you he was going to get tired. I fucking told you. I knew this man was done. He's done. Knee. Oh. Oh. Oh, yes. 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 Stay by the ball. Okay, the round started. Here we go. They added again. See, I said, Ale's going to start hard for the 30 seconds. That's all he's going to give you. That's all he's going to give you. Look there. He's going to give you this hard stuff for 30 seconds. And that's it. Be patient, Okuyama. Just patient. Oh, another knee. Just be patient. We'll get him. Here we go. Knee. Oh, knee. Right hand. Right knee. Right over. Let's go, Pablo. Let's go, Pablo. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother Guy, back again. We are doing a recap of One Friday Fights 119 that took place last Friday on the YouTube channel, of course. Just before I get into this recap, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's tuned into our channel over the weekend. I was very surprised at the numbers. Change the song quickly. Very surprised at the numbers that came up. I was very elated, happy about what I saw because I think that was the first time we did a preview. There was an offline video for One Friday Fights, and it racked over 2,500 people that tuned into it. It was absolutely amazing for an offline video. I know it's not like the biggest numbers according to other YouTube channels out there, but for a startup and for where we are at currently, I think it's absolutely amazing, and that's all thanks to everyone that has tuned in. So big ups to everybody. Give yourself a hand, tap yourself on the shoulder, whatever you want to do. Just I want to say a big thank you to everyone that has tuned in. So without further ado, before I go, like, share, comment, subscribe. We are live, so hit that comments over there. Drop a like if you like the content. But most importantly, from my side, just get involved in the banter if you feel so inclined. We are going to go through these fights, and
yeah, like I said, if you got any hot takes, anything that you want to drop, while what you want to say while we're doing while I'm doing the recap, please feel free to do so. What I'm trying to implement here by doing our recaps live is to ultimately get into the fan reaction show where all the audience members that's what it was in our live watch along and has watched the fights can get in on our live stream, and then you can chat your chat or back your chat. You give us your opinion on the channel, and then we can sort of unpack the conversation. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, without further ado, we will start at the top of the card. We are going to be recapping One Friday Fights 119. And it was quite a fun card. It was, in my opinion, the card of the youngsters. If you put it that way, there was a lot of teenagers on the fight card, and all of them were successful. I think there was one teenager who didn't get it right, and he fought against Compet. But apart from him, everybody else did quite fantastic, actually. The youngsters really showed up on this fight card. So we will start on the top of the card, which is the one that is quite controversial, in my opinion, where we saw Samingdam take on Sonrak in the 140 pounds Muay Thai division. If my memory serves me well, I think the 140 pounds is 5 pounds over the flyweight division. So these guys are technically flyweight fighters, right? Flyweight Muay Thai guys. And I was saying all week last week that I want Samingdam to win, but I did feel a little bit of apprehension towards that pick just because I think Sonrak had the experience and the know-how to win the fight. And that's what happened. I thought by the end of the third round, I thought Sonrak won the fight. I thought that he did enough to tip the fight in his favor. He landed what he needed to land. He was doing a very good defensive job, which I thought was going to happen in the fight. And he didn't win. He didn't win the fight, which I thought was quite strange. So basically, how that fight played out was, I'm gonna take my one earpiece out so I can actually hear myself as well. So basically, what happened in that fight, which I thought was quite interesting, was we know that Sonrak is very body kick heavy, right? He doesn't really throw a lot of calf kicks, doesn't really throw a lot of head kicks, but he loves to throw the body kick. He'll even pump fake some of his shots to land that body kick. It's one of his best weapons. And that's what he was throwing a lot of the time. And I loved what Samingdam did in the first round. To counter that, he was throwing a lot of check hooks. Whether it was a right hook or a left hook, he was throwing it a lot of the times. Every time Sonrak would come forward with a body kick, Samingdam will will throw a check left hook, excuse me, will throw a check right hook, counter that body kick. And it was working in the first round. It actually worked really well in the first round. I actually gave the first round to Samingdam. In round two, I think Sonrak did a very good job of changing that by what was the word I'm looking for? What he did was he picked his entries a lot of the time. So he didn't just throw the kicks blindly, which was happening throughout the fight. But what he did really well was he would throw a punch or two, or he will fake an entry and come back, which was brilliant because that sucked out or forced Samingdam to throw that counter hook. Then he would hook into nothing, would hook into thin air, and that's when Sonrak would throw the kick again. Sometimes he will double, triple up on that kick. And it was doing a good job, and it forced Samingdam to fight in a way that he needed to counter now because he was going backwards, and then he was countering with his hooks again. In the third round, actually gave that second round to Sonrak. In the third round, it was more of the same. A lot of tit for tat going back and forward. Neither guy really, for a large portion of the fight, dominated the rounds. There wasn't like a large portion of the round where I would say, okay, Sonrak won that fight, won that round because he had at least a minute, 2 minutes of the 3 minutes where he was ahead. That third round was very even in the sense of like Sonrak was going forward and then Samingdam was going forward, and they both one stage were just blasting kicks at each other, consistently just blasting kicks at each other. And it was like you kick, I kick, you kick, I kick, you kick, I kick. And I think a third round could have gone either way. I still gave it to Sonrak. So again, like I said, going backwards, he was countering well with the body kicks. Going forward, he had Samingdam reacting to a lot of feints, and then he landed these kicks again. So I thought Sonrak won the fight, honestly. But they gave it to Samingdam. I remember there was a lot of uproar online when that fight took place. I remember Pablo that was tuning into our channel. Shout out to you, Pablo. That was tuning into our channel on the live. He was saying that the social media on Instagram and on Twitter, that a lot of the Thai fans were going crazy, or a lot of the Muay Thai fans were going crazy for that result, asking how the hell did they score to Samingdam to win the fight by unanimous decision as well. That's the biggest part, is that he won via unanimous decision. I thought that was insane in my opinion. I was like, no, there's no way that the fight could have gone to unanimous. It had to be, in my opinion, either split or majority, because it was very, very close. But I think Sonrak did more over the course of the fight to win it. But the result is the result. It was a very close fight. We probably will see these guys fight again. It's a good win for Samingdam. To be quite honest, as the younger fighter, it's a very, very good win for him. As for Sonrak, it's a little bit of a back step in his progression, because he was on quite a massive fight recently. Let me just remind myself what that was. So he lost to Konpunoi. He beat Pichet. Then I lost to Samingdam. Before those 3 fights, I think he was on a 4 or 5 fight win streak. 5-fight win streak. So he was really putting together a streak where the contract was in sight for him, and I think this loss kind of puts a halt into that, kind of slows it down a little bit. So he's going to have to do a little bit more going forward to get a contract. For Samingdam, on the other hand, I still think he's a touch away from that contract. He's going to have to do a couple of more fights, but more importantly, he's going to have to fight fights that aren't catchweight. He's going to have to do that, because if he's fighting fights that aren't catchweight, it does allow the organization to kind of see a path forward for the fighter. You know what I mean? You can kind of see where where we can move with Samingdam. You know what I mean? Because I think on the top of my head, who should Samingdam fight next after winning this fight? Who should he fight next in the flyweight division after beating Sonrak? I would probably say give him what's his name? The guy who just won on the same fight card. Konpunoi. Konpunoi is also in the flyweight division. Who's also doesn't have a contract just yet. That would be a very good fight to see. Samingdam and Konpunoi put in a good performance between the two guys. And I'll get to Konpunoi a little bit later in the recap. If you stay tuned long enough, we'll get that. But yeah, like I said, if you keep having these catchweight fights on the Friday night fight card, it does make it difficult to see who next. Right? Who next? If you got any opponents that you think that will be a good opponent for Samingdam next, at least an opponent that would get him closer to the contract, who would that be? Comments are live. Get involved. We have some people in the chat. Let me know your thoughts in terms of. Let me get this as well. I don't forget about that. But yeah, comments are there. It's live. Let me know in the comments who you think could be the next opponent for Samingdam. Like I said, I'm a fan. I dig his fight style. I like his character as well. I just think in this fight against Sonrak, it showed me that Samingdam still has a lot to learn. There's a lot that he has to go through first before we can really go and say, no, he's one of the top dudes for that flyweight organization, or the flyweight division, excuse me. Like I said, in my opinion, I think he should be fighting against someone like Konpunoi, who was also successful on the night. Otherwise, let him run it back. I would say let this fight happen again, purely because I feel like the winner was not definitive. Wasn't unanimous decision. I think Sonrak actually won the fight because there was a massive backlash from the fans about this fight, and because of the decision, we have to run it back. I think it's owed to the fans, it's owed to the fighters as well to run this fight back. So again, if you've got a different opinion, or if you've got an opinion in terms of what should happen next with these two guys, let me know in the comments. I'll come back to that once or whenever I see an opinion in the comments, I'll come back to it. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep it moving to the co-main event, and I have a lot to say about this fight, just purely because I'm not going to lie, I feel like I was not cheated, but there was a high expectation for Kunsuwe, right? Not just from me, but I think from a lot of the fans, purely because of the banter that was happening around this fight before it happened. Like, the build-up amongst the Muay Thai community fans. There was a lot of fans hyping up Kunsuwe. They were speaking about this was going to be a whitewash. He was going to go in there and he was going to beat Hassan up every day of the week. Make it such a one-sided fight. There shouldn't even be a point about the fight, right? And that's not what happened. Even though the decision is correct, Kunsuwe did win the fight by unanimous decision. But the performance wasn't something that left me going, oh, I want to see this guy again. Can we give you some comparisons here? Yuki Yoza, right, came into the One Championship barking out what he's going to do. He's going to take the belt from Jonathan Nagany in 2025. He's going to wipe out everybody. He's the best kickboxer in the bantamweight division. He was saying all these outlandish things, right? His debut fight, he had Uğur Osmanov in his debut fight. That fight went to unanimous decision as well to Yuki Yoza. But that fight left a lot of fans, including myself, going, I want to see more. I thought Yuki Yoza, it left me going, damn it, this guy, he's what he says he is. You know what I mean? And then he gets Old Man Pitch in his next fight and basically wipes out Old Man Pitch as well. And I was like, you see, this is what I wanted to see. A unanimous decision win, but still a very, very phenomenal win that leaves me going, I want to see that guy fight again. You know what I mean? Because also Uğur Osmanov wasn't the easy opponent for Yuki Yoza's debut. But Yuki went in there and shut him out. Kuncevic arguably got someone that he was supposed to beat easily in Hassan Badanirad. And it looked like it was going that way. Kuncevic was styling on him. You know, he was dropping some hard body kicks, some good calf kicks, putting on a show, flipping Hassan, getting the fans all riled up, getting to the clinch at will, throws an elbow, drops Hassan easily. You think, oh, the fight is done. I'm like, what the hell? Hassan comes up and he makes it a bit of a competitive fight in round 2. He actually takes it to Kuncevic a little bit and makes Kuncevic know that you are in a fight here. This is not going to be an easy win for you. And I thought that was a little bit impressive. And you have to give props to Hassan for doing that, because when he was pretty much the biggest underdog on the fight card. So for him to actually make that fight very competitive fight, because he forced Kuncevic to sort of re-strategize how he wanted to go. There was another elbow that landed in that fight that cut Hassan open quite significantly. One of those cuts where you could get a doctor stoppage from one of those cuts, but thankfully the doctors didn't get involved and let the fight go on. But in the third round, even though Kuncevic won all 3 rounds quite significantly with body kicks, the elbows, with the clinch, just dominating the fight by being the bigger and stronger fighter, I was still left thinking, I wanted to see a little bit more, because the hype was massive and it didn't really match the performance, even though he won the fight. Kuncevic looked significantly tired in that third round. He was slowing down. Adrian made a very good point on the live stream, and he said you could argue that maybe he wasn't getting tired, but perhaps that Kuncevic was just coasting that third round. He knew he was up the first 2 rounds, and he was like, you know what? Pardon me. Let me not get myself in danger. Let me not take too much punishment. Cruise, just blast some kicks, stay defensively sound, and then I'll get the win over the course of 3 rounds, right? And that's exactly what the fight played out. In my opinion, should have done more. You're coming into the organization as an RWS champion in a featherweight division that is stacked with killers, right? I don't think we have. Let me just quickly see the featherweight Muay Thai. Kawan Chai is the champion. We've got what's his name? Here we go. Featherweight Muay Thai. Kawan Chai is the champion. Super Bronny is ranked number 2. Vampara Koyata is number 2. Super Bronny's number 1. Koyata is fighting very, very soon. I think it's like 2 months away from his fight. I don't remember who the opponent is, but I know it's going to be a crazy, crazy fight between the 2 guys. Oh, he's fighting Shadow. I think he's fighting Shadow. Shadow is ranked number 3. We got Nico Carrillo in number 4. Smoking Joe, Nantawood number 5. There's Luke Lissay that's also in there. A couple of other featherweight guys I'm not mentioning. And all these guys can also fight in between the featherweight and lightweight division as well. So there's a lot of guys, in my opinion, that based on that first performance of Kuncevic, I don't think he will do well against those guys I just mentioned. I don't think he will do well against the aforementioned guys I just said. The top 5, top 6 of the featherweight Muay Thai division. I think they give Kuncevic a tough time. And also Kuncevic is big featherweight. You know what I mean? If I'm him, I go fight lightweight. That probably doesn't even have to cut weight in that division. You know what I mean? It's a division also that is desperate for more contenders. I would say put him in that division instead. But at the end of the day, it was a good performance from the young man. He did get the fans all riled up. He did all the best things that he could. I thought he showed some great weapons. I just wish that he had the kill shot. Maybe we have to actually give props to Hassan Badanirad for being durable and defensively sound, not take that kill shot. He never really gave Kuncevic a chance to land that kill shot. Yeah, I thought it was a good fight from both guys. I wish we had a little bit more from Kuncevic. I think if he had gotten if he had gotten maybe 2 more knockdowns to get a TKO finish, or if he actually got the KO in that third round, I think it would have been a more explosive reaction, not just from me, but from everybody. At the end of the day, the Thai fans were happy, but I still think that he needs to do a bit more than that. Hopefully, his next opponent is someone that's going to force that out of him. Maybe hopefully his next opponent is going to be someone big enough that will push Kunzerbeck to that point where you have to bring that dog out of him, so we can see the killer. Regardless, I have to say that he did display movement and weapons, shot selections in a way that showed me, okay, no, he's a champion. You know what I mean? He did fight like a champion. I just wish he had gotten that finish. But okay, if you got any opinions on that fight, comments are live. If you have an idea of who Kunzerbeck should fight next, let me know in the comments. He did make weight. Maybe you can get someone like Smoking Joe. Smoking Joe doesn't have a fight. He is kind of on his way out if you think about it in terms of his age. He's still a very dangerous fighter and always a good test for newcomers. But I think Kunzerbeck can maybe take out someone like Smoking Joe. Puts himself in a very good position to say, I can fight the top 5 guys and maybe go for the title run. Because he is a champion coming out of a different organization. So he does come with a lot of notoriety, a lot of weight, a lot of backing power. So he can make those kind of demands. And I think one championship will give it to him. Okay. Let's keep it going to a fight that was at the 126-pound Muay Thai division. We had Patak Nin who versed Pet Lampun, which was also a great fight. I think it was only 2 rounds. And Pet Lampun won that fight by round 2 KO. Fought a fantastic fight, by the way. I did think that he was more skillful. I know I said in the preview and I said in the live, I said Patak Nin was going to win. It would be a safe bet, purely because Pet Lampun was on the downer. However, I did feel that Pet Lampun was the favorite. And then I got reminded on the live watch along that he's not the favorite and Patak Nin was the favorite. And I thought that was a lie. But they made him the favorite and he lost. The underdog won in the night. Patak Nin, he looked like he was a little bit too slow. He looked like he was a step behind, a little bit shy to pull the trigger. The moment that first round began, he got walked down from Pet Lampun and he stayed fighting backwards. And I felt that was the demise. I felt like that was going to lead him to lose the fight because he couldn't go forward. He didn't have anything going forward. He threw a couple of hard body kicks, sort of back up Pet Lampun, but it didn't really back him up. Pet Lampun was still ahead of the curve. He was throwing a lot of elbows in the clinch, a lot of body shots, and Patak Nin didn't like it. He didn't defend himself smartly. In my opinion, when he was getting backed up like that, he could have cut the angle, throw an elbow, cut an angle. Then immediately you're not giving Pet Lampun the chance to keep walking you down. Pet Lampun did exactly what he needed to do, and that was to be on the offense, stay pressure. High pressure is going to force Patak Nin to react. Not going to force him to deploy his game plan because now he's on the defense every single time. That's what would happen for the majority of the first round. He was getting kicked everywhere in the body. He was getting body shot a lot of the time. When they did get into the clinch, Pet Lampun landed some very good elbows. And he won that first round quite significantly. And then once they got into the was cooked. He couldn't take the shots anymore. And Pet Lampun was going at will. Everything he wanted to do was working. He had Patak Nin a couple of times up against the ropes in the clinch and threw some good body work from there. Stepped away, boxing go, and some uppercuts. And then basically off the clinch position as he was exiting, he threw a nice overhand right. And basically, I won't say slept Patak Nin, but it dropped to the point where he couldn't make the 8th count. And he lost the fight by I don't know why they say KO, because he did kind of stand up, but it was too late. The 8th count was already done at that point. So, in my opinion, it was more of a TKO because Patak Nin wasn't flatlined. He was, you know what I mean? He was still kind of conscious. He got up and he was taking death, but he wasn't able to recover enough to get back into the fight. Now, that was a very fascinating fight for me, just because it reminded me of the elite level, I would say, of Pet Lampun. Purely because Pet Lampun, I know he lost a couple of fights in his last one, but when he was in that win streak, he was showcasing a masterful display of Muay Thai. His shot selection, composure, patience. I was like, this guy can fucking fight, bro. He's really, really, really good now, and it's impressed me quite significantly. And I thought Patak Nin was going to be a very good one to test him. Patagnin's a dog. When he goes forward and he's in his flow state, he's a dog. But sometimes I've watched Patagnin take a bit long to wind up his stuff. It takes long to let his punches go, and that's when he can get caught. So that's what happened in this fight. Now, on screen it shows 126, right? They are 1 pound over the strawweight mark. That means these guys are fighting strawweight. Petlampun was fighting, he was fighting flyweight earlier on in the career. I'm happy that he's cutting down and made the weight for 126. Going forward, he's going to have to make 125 more regularly so we can actually put him in that strawweight division. I think he can be a very good addition to the strawweight division and really make some trouble, take on some really good guys. Speaking of guys, who should he fight next? I'm going to quickly just have a look at his last couple of opponents. And this is what I was saying earlier. It's so difficult to easily say, okay, let me put up a top 15 rankings and go, okay, these are the guys in the top 15 of the strawweight division. Who can he fight there? That's not what we get. We don't get that kind of access on the website, right? He lost to Singdom Tong. He lost to Abdallah Ondash. He lost to Pet on PK Senchai unanimous decision. So, in my personal opinion, I would say run it back with one of those losses before really making a shout at the strawweight. Abdallah Ondash, in my opinion, is big. He's a massive dude for that strawweight division. It's not a strawweight. He has to be either bantamweight or lightweight. He's a massive dude. So I don't think that Petlampun could actually run that fight back because he was significantly outmatched and undersized for that fight. So I would say Singdong Tom would be a great opponent. He lost that fight. Singdong Tom is also trying to make himself back into that 125-pound division. He also lost to Abdallah Ondash by his last fight. I would say run it back. They both got a win over each other. I would say run that fight back. It would be really good to see them really throw down. Because then we can get a trilogy fight. So I think Petlampun he's right there. At 28 years old, he's right there. I think he just needs another win over a significant opponent. And then I'm sure One Championship's going to be like, hey, let's put this guy in a contacted fight. He can be one for that strawweight division. In my opinion, he can. But Taknin is still young. He's only 22 years old. That was his second loss in the organization out of the 6 fights that he has. So he's only 22 years old. We will see him back. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay coming back. He's a top dude. Not too sure who they will give him next, just because it's so difficult when fighters are fighting catchweight fights. The thing about the spider fight cards is a lot of random fights, a lot of random opponents, not really where we can see fighters making a run at the division. So I'm sure Patagnin's probably going to get another random guy or someone that isn't really pushing for a contact. Probably going to be his next fight. But yeah, guys, the comments are popping. It's alive. Let me know your thoughts on these fight cards, and also pretty much like what do you make of the decisions, and who's like the biggest pick on the fight card as well in terms of like performance of the night. My one is definitely what's his name, Okuyama, which I'll get to a little bit later in the fight card. Then we had this was the only teenager on the fight card who didn't get the win. We had Chatawi he versed Sun Pit, and this fight didn't last long. I think it was like a minute of the first round and it was done. Sun Pit really bullied him very quickly, landed 2 shovel uppercuts, left uppercuts, dropped Chatawi. Chatawi looked like he was seeing ghosts, got back up, and Sun Pit went to work, and the body shots, boxing combinations. Literally, there was a moment where he was taking his left hand, he was pulling the guard down of Chatawi, just blasting right hands over it the whole time. Ultimately, that was what the move that knocked down Chatawi the second time, and he couldn't come back from it. And the referee did a very good job in saving him, because you could see on his face was like that. You could see on his face that he wasn't he didn't want to fight after that. He didn't want to continue fighting, and ultimately got Sunpet to win. I don't put too much stock in this fight, just because I feel like it wasn't really a matchup that needed to happen. Chatawi, this was his debut, so it was like, oh wait, he fought before? I think that was his second loss. Yeah, he fought against Petpa. Both fights he lost. So yeah, I don't know. I think Chatawi could have done a rematch against Petpa. Petpa lost his fight. They could have done a rematch. You know what I mean? Two teenagers could have fought there. Unpet, in my opinion, is a very good fighter. He's 25 years old, and I thought that he didn't need to take on the young man. I mean, he's got 4 wins in 1 championship and 2 losses. So I feel like Sanpet is, and he fought against top talent. So I think Sanpet should be fighting better guys, in my opinion. You should be fighting on. If you really wanted to give him a youngster as the fourth fight on top of the card, you could have given him one of the guys that won on the fight card. T'Challa with a fantastic fight in his debut. He won by knockout, and the fighter that you can see on screen below that, Adesami Rechnimi. He's only 19 years old as well, and he fought a fabulous fight against someone I thought he was going to lose to. So I think Sanpet should definitely be getting more top talent, fighters that are higher ranked, in my opinion, than fighting against these youngsters. So on the night, it was a good knockout for him, but I don't think the win was something that could have catapulted his career a little bit further than that, because he fought against someone that was, 6 years younger than him, 7 years younger than him. So yeah, I don't think it should have been a fight that he should have taken. But okay, if you got a different opinion, let me know, because obviously the Thai fighters fight from a very, very, very young age, so it shouldn't really be that much of a difference, right? However, if you take a basic science, basic biology of a 19-year-old body, boy or woman, and put it up against a body that is 6 years older, there's a big difference. A very big difference in terms of the muscle density, the durability of that body, the age of that. It's just everything is different. The older person will be able to take shots better, able to dish out shots better, you can be fitter. Granted, up until a certain age. Obviously, when we get older, it's a little bit different. But yeah, in that regard, there, I think it was a mismatch. I think Sanpet was definitely going to beat him. But great fight. Then we saw this is where the teenagers started taking control. Petwiset, I think he was like 20 odd years old, 22, something like that. He took on Abdesami Rechnimi, strawweight Muay Thai division, and this was a really great performance from the young man. Rechnimi fought really well. He was dominating the space. He won every single round. The TKO finish at the end was just fabulous. I mean, he had knocked down twice before that already. Just picking him up, using the range, using the speed, using the volume, the knees on the break, the knees on the entry. He pretty much had Petwiset all kinds of trouble from the moment that bell rang in round one. I thought Petwiset was going to be the one that was going to be more durable in the power. However, I think Rechnimi knew that he needed to apply the pressure. Because he knew that if he was going to fight a more patient fight, he was probably going to lose, because he was going to allow Petwiset to settle in and take control and let his weapons go. But because he was being overwhelmed by the constant pressure and speed from Rechnimi, Petwiset never had a chance to settle down and get into the fight. He had to be on the defensive the whole time, and he was taking shots, heavy shots from Rechnimi that had him dropped in all kinds of trouble. There was a left hook, there was a right hook that dropped him the first time, I think it was. There was a knee that really dropped him, and then I think in the second round there was an overwhelming pressure that just went from Rechnimi. He just went balls to the wall, closed him down, and just started letting his combinations go. Ultimately, Petwiset couldn't really come and make back that count, the knockdown, couldn't come back from it, and ultimately lost the fight. Masterful performance from the young man. We got a comment. See that? What's that? Oh, Adrian, let's go! What's up, much love for the comment, my friend. Big ups to you. It was again, like I said, Rechnimi, he just fought a really good fight on the night. It was his debut. Looks nice and tall for that strawweight division, which is really good, right? And we just saw Boza in a great performance in his last fight. Alif, the Al Jamadi brothers. We got Adam. We got the Pitch brothers. Well, Nayan is the one that fights the strawweight division. Who else was there that fights strawweight? Gulozada don't fight strawweight. Gulozada fights flyweight. But there's some really good strawweight athletes, right? So I just thought that it was a very good debut for the young man, and with that kind of performance, that kind of finish to the fight, he's definitely going to be noticed by the One Championship. So we're definitely going to see him compete again, possibly even soon, because he didn't take any damage in this fight. He took no damage, so we're probably going to see Rechnimi fight soon. But we know that next Friday fight cards 20 and 21 is already secured in terms of matchmaking and the fights for that fight card. So we won't see him in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Probably going to see him in the next month or so. But really great fight for Rechnimi. But if you got anything else in the comments, I see we got 5 people it's watching live. If you got any thoughts about this fight card, remember the main event was controversial. There was a lot of backlash on social media about that fight. A lot of people thought that Sonrak won the fight, but Samingdam got the win. If you have any thoughts, if you agree that the fight was controversial and the win should have gone to Sonrak, you know where the comment section is. Let me know in the comments about that. Give me your opinion on that fight. I personally feel like it was a robbery, even though I was cheering for Samingdam to win. I still think it was a robbery. I felt that he didn't win that fight. Got another comment here from Adrian. Myanmar was robbed. Yeah, dude. I think on the night, Myanmar was definitely robbed. I don't know how. I'm still baffled by that decision in my opinion. I watched it back 3 times. I watched the fight back 3 times, and I still don't know how they gave it to Samingdam. Weird. Still blows me away. Still think that Sonrak won that fight. He was landing more. He was active defensively and also offensively. Going back foot, he was landing a lot of body kicks, and I don't know how they. I don't know. There was a couple of counter shots from Samingdam, but it didn't stop anything. It didn't change the course of the fight. And also, neither guy was really dominating. So it was close. But if you really wanted to give it down and be like nitpicking, you have to give it to Chandra. It was visible to the naked eye that he won the fight. But anyway, let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Rahnimi, great performance for the youngsters on the night. I thought he was fabulous. I really enjoyed that. Let me quickly click on the highlights. I don't know if it's gonna play any audio for you guys. I know it doesn't. Okay. Didn't. Okay, that's fine. So we'll keep it moving then to the next fight on the night, or the fight that took place before. On Sin Lon Chao, who's also from Cho from Myanmar. Burma, this is 130 pounds. Muay Thai, these guys are pretty much pretty close to that bantamweight limit as well, 5 pounds under to be exact. And this fight played out the way I thought it was going to play out. Honest with you, I did say in the preview and pretty much in the live action, live watch along, that you kind of you can see very easily how whenever there's a Thailand fighter versus a Myanmar fighter, you can see how it's going to play out. Typically, what happens is the Thai guy out volumes the Myanmar guy and then wins the fight on decision. If that doesn't happen, then the Myanmar guy lands something heavy and he's got that Thai dude the rock. Maybe knocking him or TKOing him or winning the fight by having a knockdown. And that kind of typically what happens. It goes one of the two ways. It's not often that we see the Thai guys knocking out the Myanmar dudes purely because of the Myanmar's durability. And they can take the shots and they can dish out shots as well, right? That's what happened for the most part. Sanit was basically because the Myanmar guys, what they do is they have this durability, they get their head down and they just box. They box, get in tight, clinch, no body shots, box. And they wear down the Thai guy like that. Their main game plan is getting close, getting tight, stay there. Don't give the Thai guy any distance to blast those counter kicks that they love to throw, right? With its body or head. Muay Thai guys love to throw it. And that's kind of what we saw in the fight. We saw Sin Lun Chao trying to get into those positions. Sanit never allowed him. He was always moving laterally, putting out the left hand, letting the jab go. He managed the distance and throwing kicks every single time in those exchanges, which was a beautiful game plan. And it allowed him to stay ahead of the curve the whole time. Allowed him to stay ahead of the fight the whole time. Sun Chao couldn't really get forward. He couldn't really get into any position where he could plant his feet and dig into the body and let it go and put the fight in his favor. He couldn't do it. And Sanit was just, you could see at the end of the round one, all those body kicks was really wearing down Sin Chao. Sin Chao was, you see those moments where, when a fighter takes deep breaths, when they throw a shot and they go, put their hands down and get back into stance. And a fighter does that, for a fact this fighter's cooked. He's got no more stamina left. He can't go forward after that. So when he did that, I was like, nice, Sanit's got you, my friend. Second round started, and it was more of the same. Sanit was letting those body kicks go. And I loved that kill switch at the end where he basically attacked the inside leg oof, with the same leg, got back, left high kick, and Sinun Chao blocked it. Right, he blocked it, or not really blocked it, but he took it. It was on the chest, or it was a block, but it basically rocked him to the point where he was kind of out already. Took the shot, just going down to the knees. Basically, Sanit threw a nice left hook at the same time, bang, and it ultimately is what officially led to the knockout. And it gave him a second round knockout, and it was a great win, great performance from Sanit. He is of the older dudes, he's 31 years old. So hopefully he can make weight cut. Maybe he doesn't have to fight against a fighter that doesn't make him weight with him. So I think One Championship should put him in a fight where it's 155 pounds. Fight someone at 155 pounds, because I'm impressed with that performance. It showed me class, showed me a good repertoire of weapons and composure, and I thought it was a good fight, because even though it was kind of one-sided, Sin Chao made it a fight. Like he was dangerous. You know what I mean? He was going forward. He was trying to get the fight into a clinch. He was trying to be aggressive, and that's always a dangerous fighter to fight against. And Sanit did a really good job at staying away from those dangers and letting his offense go all the time. So great fight, great win. I thought Sanit did what he needed to do. And for Sin Chao, I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it again. I say it a lot of times on all the other fight cards as well. For the Myanmar guys, not everyone is like a Super Yechan who's got a lot of combinations, who can go forward, who can pump fight, and he can attack the body, and he throws tips, he throws good kicks. I don't see a lot of Myanmar fighters that fight that way. A lot of the Myanmar guys tend to rely on their durability, their conditioning, their strength, tap the elbows, they scream at you, and they rely a lot on that, and not a lot of combinations, not a lot of movement. No, don't, and that's what kind of makes you a bit one-dimensional. So that's why I think Sanit was able to do what he could do in this fight quite easily, because his opponent didn't show him a lot of other weapons. If I was Sin Chao, that the first thing I would have done in that fight was hard, fucking hard low kick, hard. You make this man know, I'm gonna take your legs away from you, because Thai guys are very kick heavy. They love to throw body kicks. They love to throw high kicks. What they do going forward is what they do going backwards. They love to do that. So what Sulon Chao needed to do in this fight, in my opinion, he's got very good boxing. He's powerful with his boxing. He obviously wanted to get into the clinch. So don't force it immediately, because he was also the shorter fighter. What he should have done, in my opinion, was you kick the legs out of this Thai dude. You force this Thai guy to box, which is not what he wants to do. You force him to box with you. Then he's basically fighting in your domain now. You can beat him easily from there. He didn't do that. So basically, for a lot of the Myanmar fighters that's fighting Muay Thai, in my opinion, take a page or go train with Super Yechan, because he takes it to the Thai guys. He's not scared. He don't just want to box and get into clinch and durability. He fights the fight. You want to kick, I can kick just as fast as you, just as hard as you, and just as accurate. So I just think for a lot of the lightweight fighters that are fighting in Muay Thai in one championship, in my opinion, let's start leveling up the arsenal of weapons and not just focusing on that boxing. You know what I mean? Because you really got that down. Let's focus on how you can force the opponent to get into your boxing range. Otherwise, you're going to take kicks the whole time, and you're going to keep getting knocked out like this. So, yeah, end of the day, it was a great fight for Sanit. I thought he fought really, really well. Then we had Walid Sakhraji. He took on Kun Panoi from So Sumai, flyweight Muay Thai. Great fight. Kun Panoi won by unanimous decision. And yeah, it wasn't really, there was no knockouts that was happening. No one really got knocked down, but it was a fast fight. Heavy pace, a lot of back and forth. Walid's good though. He's good, but I don't think he's flyweight. I think the dude's pretty big, muscle bound. Oh, he's very, very built really well. And I think that was leading to his demise as the fight was progressing, because after round one, he looked tired. Tired where he was like, easy to fight against, but he was slower. He wasn't throwing as much combinations. In fact, he was very defensive in round two and round three, because I think he didn't have the stamina to continue to be as offensive as he was. In the first round, he was taking it to Kun Punoi. Crazy, getting into the clinch, cuts. It landed on Kun Punoi really, really well. Good kicks to the calf. And he was just taking it to him. High pace, high pressure, good volume. But Kunpunoi was defensive in that first round. He kept his guard really high. He only took a couple of uppercuts. Kept his guard really high. And then once he got his reads, so in my opinion, it looked like he kind of gave that first round away. I wouldn't say he did it on purpose. I think he just had to. He had no choice because Walid was just too fast, too strong in that first round, and he had to kind of give that round to him. In round two, Kunpunoi kind of got his timing down. He got the counter. He started throwing a lot of body kicks. He allowed Walid. He's like he knew Walid was going to come at him, and he just stepped out of the range, countered with a left straight to the body, left straight to the head, and he had Walid thinking, "Oh my word!" There was counter elbows. You could clearly see that Kunpunoi was like, "Alright, I got you now. My timing is down. I'm attacking you more frequently. You're missing a lot of your shots." And Kunpunoi was just basically winning the fight. And from that second round to the third round, that was what happened. That was the thing. It was repeating itself the whole time, where Kunpunoi was just being quicker on the counter, more accurate as well. He didn't rush anything. And when he did throw something, it was landing. And it was you could see while it was fading. Faded in round two, he faded in round three. He couldn't really go forward as much as he wanted to anymore. And he had to take the loss. And I think unanimous decision was correct. Kunpunoi put on a very good performance and he fought a fantastic fight. And I think he deserved that win. It begs the question, who next? Because he did make weight. The fight was in flyweight. Walid, I think he won road to 100 in I don't remember which country it was. He technically, I won't say a champion, but he basically took out an entire roster, and so it was a good fight for him. Kunpunoi to put in that performance, I thought was brilliant. I would have loved to see him get the finish, but like I said prior to the fight, Kunpunoi is like a silent assassin in this flyweight Muay Thai division. He's quietly going about his business. Who next? There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys he can fight, right? I just mentioned earlier in the fight show, in the recap, he could be fighting. He could fight against Samingdam. Samingdam got a win, which I don't think he deserved. He could be fighting Samingdam, and that could be a fight that isn't catch weight. That could allow both guys to fight for a contact potentially. But I think Samingdam should be fighting Sonrak again, so we can get a definitive winner there. For Kunpunoi, in my opinion, there's lots of fighters he can take on, right? Freddie Haggerty doesn't have a contract. Johan Estupinan, Jordan Estupinan doesn't have a contract. Atif Kuruzala doesn't have a contract. These are three youngsters that are top talents, right? And I think Kunpunoi is right there for that contract kind of fighter. But he has to fight someone that is on the same bracket. And those three names I just mentioned are young, they're vibrant, they're hungry, they want to take out big guys. And I also think that for any of the Stupinan brothers, Freddie Haggerty, and for Akif Kulazada, beating someone like Kunpunoi would be good for their careers, especially Freddie Haggerty and Jordan Estupinan. I think Johan Estupinan already got a contract. So I think next fight, you take Kunpunoi, you don't put him on a Friday fights card, you put him on a fight night card. You know the next fight night card's already been booked in terms of all the fighters on that fight card. But the next fight night card, I would say Kunpunoi, Freddie Haggerty, let's go main event, for contract. I will go all in on that one. But if you got a different opinion, I'll put in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen. For now, I'm gonna keep it moving. This fight was hella insane. I remember we had Pablo Frota. Shout out to Pablo. Let's go. The mainstay, the fan favorite, a big supporter of the Fight Events channel. Much love to him. On the fight night, I remember Pablo was making a bet for Majid on this fight, and I was like, I don't know. I'm not too sure. And I've never seen Decha Walid fight before, right? This is also 140 pounds Muay Thai. I've never seen Decha Walid fight before. This was his debut. And I didn't give a pick in the preview building up to this fight card. Shout out to everyone that tuned in for that preview as well. Much thanks to you guys. These are the most recorded numbers for our preview ever on our channel. So big ups to everybody that made that a possibility. There was no picture on that preview for Decha Walid. There was no picture for him. There was nothing to even go on in terms of what his fight style is like. And then I stepped on it. I woke up. I saw the picture. Looked a little bit like Super Leg. That wasn't what messed with my head in terms of what I thought about the fight. On the live, when I was going over the fights before the fight even happened, I was telling Pablo, don't think you should make this bet. Don't think you should make this bet purely because I've seen Majid fight against Kiko Shadow, and although that was a mismatch, he didn't have to take that fight. Shadow was so much bigger than him. I'm just going to what I mean. Let me just confirm that it was Shadow. No, he fought Panpayak. And Panpayak wasn't bigger than him. But Panpayak was obviously more skillful. Even though he took it to Panpayak a little bit in that first round, he still got outmatched, got skilled in that fight and got knocked out in the second round. But I saw Majid fight. Majid doesn't really fight Muay Thai. He doesn't clinch, he doesn't elbow, he doesn't throw a lot of high kicks, he doesn't throw a lot of body kicks. He's a very boxing heavy dude. He's short, he's stocky, he's muscular as fuck. But he relies on that power and he relies, like I said, he fights like John Lineker a little bit. Gets into the void and he just starts swinging, and he counter, duck, under, overhand, swing. That's what he does. He's a boxer by trade. I think he should be fighting boxing purely. I don't think he should be fighting Muay Thai. Because I think as a boxer he can do really well. And based on that, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna beat Techawalit in this fight. I think Techawalit's gonna have more skill. And then when I found out that Techawalit is significantly taller, I was like, I think he's gonna win this fight. I think Techawalit's gonna beat him up quite badly. That's exactly what we saw in the first round. Techawalit had 3 knockdowns in that first round. He beat the shit out of Majid. Fast, very, very fast, reach advantage. I think there was two left hooks. The third left hook was what actually knocked him out completely. We've got another comment here. Sorry, we've got another comment coming in here from Adrian. Man should fight in the frozen food division. Yeah. Bro, he's built like a fridge. Let's be honest. Yeah, Ajit is definitely built like a fridge. My guy he's just jacked out of his mind. And he doesn't have the fights. He doesn't have the. I don't want to say skill because who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? I'm just a fan. But I'm being completely honest. Majid doesn't really have. He just fought someone that is half his age. Not half his age, but it's only like what 17 years old, 18 years old. Majid's 26, 25 years old. There we go. Walid is 17 years old, and he went in there and whipped this dude's ass. You know what I mean? We've got another comment coming in here from Adrian. What's that? Juiced or nah? I'm assuming that you're referring to Majid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say yes. I don't think that this man is clean. I think he's juiced out of his mind. I don't think that he's a clean fighter. I don't even want to use the word clean. I don't think he's an enhanced fighter. He's non-enhanced. Let's put it that way, right? I think Majid is definitely an enhanced fighter. You can see it by his build. You can see by he's not even able to go the rounds. He can't. He wants to end the fight very early because he knows he can't go further than that. You could see in that fight against Panpayak. He took it to Panpayak in the first round, but then you could see in the third round there was nothing left. That could just tee off on him quite easily. And that's what we saw in this fight. Walid was teeing off on him. He was letting out the combinations. He was popping out those combinations. And Majid didn't know what to do. Granted, there was a moment in Majid knocked Walid down. He counted with a left hook, bang! And he caught Walid, knocked him out. I thought he was going to win the fight of that because it was a very scary knockdown. You could see that Walid's face was like, he was seeing stars. But he recovered very quickly and he got back up and he went straight back to work. And immediately, it didn't even take long before he got his knockdown back, ultimately finishing Majid with 3 knockdowns and putting a masterful performance. Like I said earlier in the show, this was a fight card for the youngsters. You know, all the teenagers on this fight card were going down. They were winning their fights. They were looking fabulous. They were making a name for themselves. They just didn't get those bonuses which I think they should have. But Walid, I want to see this guy fight again. I really do want to see him fight again. They could give him Ben Wang. Ben Wang fought last week, I think. He lost to... Oh, my soul. Who did he lose to? Name's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, that's another youngster that made noise in his debut fight, right? Let's put these youngsters up against each other. It would be a crazy fight to watch Walid versus Ben Wang. That would be a crazy fight. In fact, I'd pay mega money for that, even though they're not even champions, not even contenders. But they put such great fights on. Even though Ben Wang lost that fight, his last fight, he was coming on strong. Oh, he fought Riftin Mansour. Even though he lost that fight against Riftin, I would go as far as to say at the end of round 2, going into round 3, he was going at him. He was the pressure fighter. And made me go, if this was a 5-round fight, I think he would have beat Riftin. So I'm saying let's go Techawalit and versus Bainu Wang next. That would be a crazy, crazy fight to watch. If you got a different opinion, please, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments, man. Let me know. Now we'll keep it moving. Another great fight. It was very fascinating for me. This was mind blowing for me because it was the okay. Liu Jinghao versus Yumito Mizuno, who's coming out of Rise. 17 years old, I think. You can see it in his face. Look at that. It's a child, 18 years old. Right? He took on a very, very experienced boxer in Liu Jinghao. And only fought boxing up until this point. This was Jinghao's first fight in kickboxing. Right? And what a fight between the two guys. Really fascinating because I was more curious to understand what was Liu Jinghao gonna do, Qinghao gonna do in a discipline that isn't what he's fought. So he had to worry about kicks, he had to worry about knees, he had to worry about the movement. It's not just the boxing, right? It's not just us throwing fists at each other. There's more weapons to worry about. And look, he lost the first round quite significantly. Like Mizuno was piecing him up. Had a very cool fighting out of the orthodox southpaw stance. Did a really cool thing where he threw a jumping knee, switched the stance, threw a nice right uppercut. You could see Jinghao's face was like, whoa, scattering, trying to get his wits about him. Lost that first round significantly. Second round, he came back a little bit better. I personally feel like Mizuno had an adrenaline dump in that second round. I could see it because he was very defensive. He wasn't throwing a lot of stuff in that second round. He was trying to catch his breath because he went hard in round one. He went very, very hard in round one. Too excited. Spent all his energy quite early in that first round. And the second round, you could see he had to post. He had no choice but to be defensive and take it. And he did a very good job in being defensive. He lost the round. He didn't get hurt that much. He didn't take a lot of damage. He was getting backed up the whole time, but he was able to get out of range, stay out of danger. Jinghao's boxing is good. I fucking love it. I was impressed by the way he boxes. I really think it's amazing. Powerful dude. Even his kicks, he threw a lot of calf kicks. I thought it was a very smart move. I thought we would see that more from Mizuno coming into the as a Japanese fighter, as the Kyokushin guy. I'm not sure if he does Kyokushin. I'm sure he does. But I expected more calf kicks from him, but he didn't throw those calf kicks. He was throwing a lot of body kicks, a lot of flying knees, a lot of boxing combinations. And I thought that allowed Qinghao to actually get back into the fight. Round 3 was a round that could have gone either way. That's when Mizuno, you could see he got his second win, and he started to fight again, got back on the front, started to let those hands go and forced Qinghao to be defensive. Then again at the end of that third round, Qinghao came back and made it a bit of an ugly fight, chasing those punches. But Mizuno was defensively brilliant and stayed out of range, stayed out of danger, and fought a really good fight. Very impressed with the young man. Very impressed with both guys actually. And that was 117. So these guys are atomweight kickboxers. That's amazing, bro. I want to see them fight more frequently. I don't know if there's an atomweight champion. There's no atomweight champion, right? I know that there's an atomweight. Probably going to see an atomweight belt on the night of 173. If Naraka Yoshinari wins his fight, we're probably going to see him get crowned as the official atomweight Muay Thai champion. But I don't think there's an atomweight kickboxing champion. Let me know in the comments if there is one. I don't think there is. But fun fight from both guys, and I mean these are really good guys to sort of build a division around. If you think about it. And I know there's a lot of atomweight guys that'll be willing to cross over to kickboxing as well. In fact, Naraka Yoshinari is more than capable to hold both belts, in my opinion. He probably will. He's 24 years old, so you probably will see him have 2 titles. Okay, we keep it moving. Let me just remove this comment here. We lost that conversation. Thank you, Adi, for that comment. Really do appreciate it and the time you've taken to get involved there. This fight is the fight that you've watched at the beginning of the live stream. My reaction to this fight was obviously what you guys saw. All the hype. Very impressed by Masahito Okayama or Chingiz Lale. I wasn't that impressed. I thought that he could have gotten this fight in his favor. He was a bit more patient. He wasn't patient. He was blasting a lot of heavy shots, high kicks, even rocked. He won the first round. 10-8. He won the first round easy. He knocked Okayama down, not necessarily down, but you could see that Okayama was basically out on his feet. High kick happened. He went down to a knee, popped back up, but he was still, seeing other shit. Um, and Lale was going to work. He was really going to work. A lot of boxing combinations, powerful shots, but and it's a very big cut. Towards the last 30 seconds of that first round, or 45 seconds of that first round, he looked very tired, gassed out of his mind. He had his hands down by his side. Okuma was coming at him and closed him down and was going to work, piecing him up with combinations. And I was like, you see, that doesn't look comfortable. I didn't like the body language. And I said it on the stream as well, live. I remember Pablo bet on this fight, and I was happy that he bet on this fight as well. I think I told him to take the 2 bets to the 2 Japanese guys. I said at the end of that first round, I don't think Lale's going to win this fight. I think he's going to get stopped. I think he's going to get TKO'd because he looked very, very tired. And I thought, I don't think he's got the gas tank to go. In that second round, Okayama was going to town on him. There were a lot of knees, a lot of combinations. And I think I keep saying Chingiz Lale was on the back foot too much in that second round. He had some counter hooks that he was throwing in there, and he was landing, bruh. He was landing some heavy stuff. Okayama was just taking it. Just like myself, the commentators were shocked. They were like, how the fuck is this young man taking these shots? I mean, those clean shots. They were landing on him, hard uppercuts. And he was taking it and just kept his guard there and marched forward and let his combinations go. It didn't deter him at all. And I think this was really not encouraging for Lale. It was basically making him realize that he's in a fight that he's probably going to have to take an L here because he had nothing going forward over there. And in the third round, in the beginning of the third round, Okayama didn't waste any time. He went forward hard, and he was just going to town again. A lot of combinations, landed a very big knee. That you could see that folded Lale. Dropped him, he went down, he took it, and he was like, okay, I have to take this L. And he got knocked the third round TKO loss. Great performance from Okayama. Maybe serves me well. He is a champion, or he was the current champion of Rise kickboxing. Before taking this fight, so I don't think that Okayama and Mizuno are contacted fighters for one championship. That was just the one fight contact. So we're going to see them for that night. Hopefully, we see them in the future. They are really good fighters. Let's see what happens. I felt that the championship should try and get them into their roster because they're really, really good fighters. Both guys. Then we had MMA. We had MMA bout, welterweight MMA, Ruslan Aslangriev. He took on Mikhail Makrushin. This was welterweight MMA, and this fight didn't last long either. Under a minute in the first round. Both guys are predominantly wrestlers. So it meant that when the fight started, they were just going to stay boxing, obviously, because I feel like they both knew they were going to wrestle. It was going to be a very short fight because they're probably going to get tired. Neither guy was probably going to get the submission, and it would have gone to 3 rounds. And one of those kind of snooze fests because both guys are massive. They're not. So the welterweight in one championship is not 170. I think it's 185. They're technically middleweights. That's why they're so jacked. And for as long as the fight lasted, they were just pretty much getting into range, trying to see who was going to throw what. Ruslan was stepping into range, but never really threw anything. You kind of see that he was just stepping in and then he immediately bounced out of it because I think he was trying to fish for something. He wanted to pull a counter out of Mikhail. And Mikhail, let's be honest, there was a moment where he did bite on the front and he threw a massive overhand right. He committed full power to the overhand right to the point where he even dipped his own head going down. And you could see right there, he played one of his cards. He showed you what he wants to throw. Counter overhand right. Then Ruslan went forward and tried to do it again. Fish for that counter. Went in, right? Pulled that counter out of Mikhail. But as he was going backwards, dropped his right hand. And then Mikhail threw a left hook. So he pieced that combination. He didn't just throw the overhand right. He connected the combination with the overhand right, left hook. And it landed beautifully on Ruslan's chin. Basically knocked him out. This is where it got controversial because when he took that knockdown, Ruslan went down, but he rolled backwards, which indicated to me that he was still kind of defensively aware. He wasn't completely knocked out because a person that's completely knocked out ain't rolling back. They're taking that knockout. This man rolled back, and then when he was about to, when he got back to his knees, he literally jolted forward into he shot for a double leg, ready to go for it. And guess who he shot on? He didn't even shoot on Mikhail. He shoot on the referee. The referee got involved so quickly. in my opinion, it was a premature stoppage. I feel like he could have given Mikhail the chance to get the official knockout, and he could have allowed Ruslan to maybe fight back, get that double leg, get the takedown, and maybe let's see if he survives it. I think because he didn't even allow Mikhail to throw any follow-up shots to maybe end the fight. It was just knockdown, roll him back, referee jumps in. Mikhail was like, oh, what's going on? And the referee had to defend the takedown from Ruslan. Simple fact that Ruslan was taking the referee down kind of highlighted to you that he was in a defensive mindset, like he was prepared to defend and get back up. And I think the referee didn't allow him to do that, and that was a bit of a bad call from the referee. I know you want to protect the fighters. I know that's the most important thing, fighter safety first. But it's a big but. If the fighter is getting back up while taking punishment in an MMA fight, if the fighter is doing a takedown while recovering from a knockdown, you have to let that fighter fight through it. You have to give both fighters a chance to do what they need to do. Let the one guy finish the fight and let the other guy attempt to defend that and get back. And if he didn't allow that to happen, that was very prematurely stopped in my opinion. So hopefully they give it a run back, or maybe they can give it another chance, because that was Mikhail. I think that was his debut. Let me just check it here. Yeah, that was his debut. So he could be fighting Ruslan again. For Ruslan, I think he deserves a run back. I feel like it wasn't a fair stoppage for him. And both guys only really have 1 or 2 fights in the organization, so they could be fighting again. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens. And then we had the opening bout, which was quite entertaining actually. We had Taylor McClinchy. She took on Yara Saleh, and this was a woman's 128 pounds bantamweight, flyweight, which is no, 135 is flyweight. The strawweight. They both were 2 pounds over for that strawweight limit. Great fight, really back and forth. I thought Yara fought a good fight. Just felt that she was a bit one-dimensional. She was the shorter fighter, significantly the shorter fighter, and she didn't really change up her entries. There was a good moment where she landed some really good elbows in the clinch, cut Taylor open. Taylor was bleeding all kinds of way. Her face looked really busted up, quite nasty. And Yara was doing a really good job, but Taylor using the reach, using that knees, using that tips, and bullying, but walking Yara down and forcing her to fight backwards the whole time, which tipped the fight into Taylor's favor, because you could see Yara slowing down after round 1 and round 2. It was just counter boxing. I didn't like that she was just counter boxing. I would love to have seen her throw that boxing combinations to the body instead of just go to the head the whole time. This woman is so much taller than you. I don't know why she was attacking the head so much. She would have also included a shot to the body while throwing those boxing combinations. Because she was there to be hit. Taylor's body was there to be taken out. And Yara didn't do that. And of course she didn't do that, but it allowed Taylor to do what she needed to do by using her reach and dominating the fight by just landing more powerful stuff and constantly being the one that's providing the pressure successfully. So you had to give the fight to Taylor. And she won the fight in a good fashion. So who did they fight next? I'm not so sure. That was Yara's debut. It's a really good experienced fighter in Taylor. Yara's still very young. Taylor, 33 years old. At this point, should be fighting more experienced fighters as well. People that are in and around top 10, top 5. That should be Taylor's competition, not necessarily someone that's debuting and coming into the organization. That being said, I still want to see both of them fight again. I would love to see Taylor go up against someone more ranked. For Yara, yeah, you can give her anyone really outside of that rankings. Give her any fighter outside of the rankings. Who fought recently? Kazenska. Martina Kazenska. That was a great fight. She had a very good showing. I think that would be a good fight for Yara as a next opponent. But if you have anyone else, let me know in the comments. Drop it in the chat. That is my time. We've come to the end of the fight card. There aren't any more fights for me to recap. It was an amazing fight card. Absolutely amazing. But if you made it this far, please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This week we are going to be coming through with a lot of fight content for both One Championship and UFC. I know last week the UFC content was a little bit sparse, just because it was kind of a boring card. I know that Anthony Fafinanis beat Roman Dolidze. Great performance from him. He is becoming a very much a dark horse for that middleweight division in UFC. What can you expect for this week? We are going to be doing a preview and a live watch along for One Friday Fights 120. And the fight card isn't released yet in terms of on the website, but it is released on the YouTube and social media page. Go check it out. Great fights. Istaval is back. Compet taking on Yodlek Pet. Avatar. Great great fights. I can't wait for that one. It's going to be amazing. So we'll be doing a preview for that one later this week. It'll most likely come out on Thursday. On tomorrow, which is Tuesday, we'll get the One Championship news update. Wednesday, we'll be doing the UFC preview for the UFC. That's 319, where we are going to see Dricus du Plessis fighting this weekend. Can't wait for this. He's taking on Hamzat Chimaev. So stay tuned for that one. We're also going to be doing a live watch along for that fight card as well. That's almost like it'll be on the weekend, obviously. So yeah, stay tuned. There are going to be some fun cards coming up, fun content coming up. You guys to stay tuned in for our channel. Also, just again, big thanks to everybody that tuned in. We also have our membership up and running. It's as cheap as a cup of coffee. It's 30 Rand to subscribe to our channel, where we're going to be producing obviously a lot more members only content. Fighter interviews. We're going to have basically a what's the word I'm looking for? Untethered. It's going to be like an after dark kind of episode where we're going to be doing stuff that's not as formal as this. It's going to be all the guys together in the group, and we're just going to have a nice chat, and we're going to just unpack a lot of hot takes about the world of combat sports. So stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, join if you want to join. It's quite cheap. It won't cost you much. It's under basically $1.20 to be exact. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. Otherwise, keep supporting. Love to everybody, and you will catch myself in the panel on the rest of the content coming out this week. Have a good week. Stay safe. And we'll catch us. Cheers, guys.